Aya, a university student in Tokyo, often studied late into the night. One evening, she found herself rushing to catch the last train from Shinjuku Station to her apartment in Shibuya. The station was eerily quiet, the usual throngs of commuters long gone. As she boarded the nearly empty train, she noticed only a handful of passengers scattered throughout the car. She chose a seat near the door, the cold metal pole cool against her hand as she steadied herself. The train's fluorescent lights flickered intermittently, casting unsettling shadows on the walls. As the train departed, Aya felt a sudden chill, despite the car being sealed. She glanced around and noticed a man seated at the far end of the car. He wore a dark suit, his face obscured by the brim of his hat. Something about his stillness unsettled her. At the next station, an elderly woman boarded, her movements slow and deliberate. She took the seat directly across from Aya, clutching a worn leather handbag. The woman met Aya's gaze, her eyes filled with an unspoken sorrow.
"You should be careful,"
the woman whispered. Aya leaned in, puzzled. "Excuse me?"
"Strange things happen on the last train,"
the woman continued, her voice barely audible over the hum of the train. Before Aya could respond, the train's lights flickered again, plunging the car into brief darkness. When the lights returned, the man in the suit was suddenly seated 2 rows closer. Aya's breath caught in her throat. She hadn't seen him move. The elderly woman reached out, her cold hand gripping Aya's wrist.
"Don't look at him,"
she warned. Heart pounding, Aya turned her gaze to the floor, focusing on the scuffed tiles. The train sped through the dark tunnels, the stations passing in a blur. Without warning, the train screeched to an abrupt halt between stations. The lights dimmed, casting the car in a murky gloom. The air grew thick, oppressive. A chilling voice echoed through the car. "Next stop, your final destination." Aya's eyes darted to the elderly woman, but her seat was empty, the handbag left behind. Panicking, Aya stood, gripping the pole for support. The man in the suit was now mere feet away, his face still hidden. Summoning her courage, Aya demanded, "Who are you?" The man slowly lifted his head, revealing a face identical to her own, but with hollow, lifeless eyes. Paralyzed with fear, Aya stumbled back as the train's doors hissed open, revealing a dark void beyond. A force pulled at her, dragging her toward the open doors. She grasped at the pole, the cold metal slipping from her sweaty palms. Just as she was about to be pulled into the abyss, a hand grabbed hers, yanking her back into the car. Gasping, Aya found herself back in her seat, the train moving smoothly toward Shibuya. The elderly woman sat across from her, the man in the suit nowhere to be seen.
"Remember,"
the woman said softly,
"never ride the last train alone."
Lena always thought it was funny how the world felt different at 3 a.m. The air was still, too still, like the city itself was holding its breath. tonight was no different. She sat in her dimly lit apartment, scrolling through her phone, half listening to the ticking clock. Then, she noticed something. Her notifications weren't updating. No new messages, no posts, no news. Her internet was fine, but there was nothing new, like the world had just stopped. Her stomach twisted. She checked her contacts. No one was online. Not one person. Not on social media. Not in her messages. Not even the random late-night strangers who always posted nonsense. Nothing. It was like everyone had disappeared. Lena stood up, heart pounding. She stepped onto her balcony, looking out at the city. Everything looked normal, except no headlights, no blinking signs, no movement in any of the buildings, not a single car driving by, not a single light turning on or off, not a single person. She reached for her phone again, hands shaking. She tried calling her best friend. She swallowed hard, called her mom. She hung up fast. Her pulse thundered. She opened her window, listened. Silence. Not even the hum of electricity. The whole world felt off, like she was the only one left. Then her breath hitched. A single new message from unknown. Go back to sleep, Lena. You're not supposed to be awake. Her hands turned ice cold. Her phone buzzed again. Another message. They're already looking for you. She wasn't alone. Slowly, she turned. The bedroom door opened wider than before. A shadow moved inside. Then,
You were the last one, Lena. Now we can begin.
the lights flickered. The world outside blinked out, and everything went dark.
The heart of Dublin, Ireland, nestled between cobblestone streets and historic buildings, stood the Hollow Hearth, a centuries-old pub known for its rich history and lively atmosphere. Ethan, an American tourist exploring the city, had heard tales of the pub's unique charm and decided to experience it firsthand. As he stepped inside, the scent of aged wood and hops enveloped him. The dim lighting cast a warm glow over patrons engaged in cheerful conversations. Ethan approached the bar, where the bartender, an elderly man with a thick Irish accent, greeted him.
Welcome to the Hollow Hearth.
"What'll it be?" "I'll have a pint of your finest stout," Ethan replied. As he sipped his drink, Ethan's attention was drawn to a secluded corner of the pub. A group of locals sat huddled together, their faces serious, speaking in hushed tones. Curiosity piqued. Ethan approached them. "Mind if I join you?" he asked. The group exchanged glances before an older man nodded.
Of course, I'm Seamus, and these are my friends. We're just sharing some local legends.
"Local legends?" Ethan's interest was piqued. Seamus leaned in.
Have you heard of the Vanishing Pint?
Ethan shook his head.
They say that on certain nights, a stranger will come into the Hollow Hearth and order a pint. As they drink, they'll notice the pub growing quieter, the patrons disappearing one by one. By the time they finish their pint, they're all alone. And when they step outside,
Seamus paused, his eyes darkening. "What happens then?" Ethan prompted.
They're never seen again.
Ethan chuckled nervously.
Sounds like a ghost story.
Seamus's expression remained solemn.
Believe what you will, but many have vanished without a trace.
As the evening wore on, Ethan enjoyed several more pints, the warmth of the stout making him feel at ease. The pub was lively, filled with laughter and music. At midnight, Ethan noticed the atmosphere shifting. The chatter dulled, and one by one, patrons began to leave until he was the only one remaining. Even the bartender had disappeared. Perplexed, Ethan called out, "Hello?" Silence. He stood up, the creak of the wooden floor echoing in the emptiness. As he approached the door, it swung open on its own, revealing a dense fog outside. Stepping into the mist, Ethan found himself not on the familiar cobblestone streets of Dublin, but in a desolate landscape, the outlines of ancient ruins barely visible through the haze. Panic set in. He turned back to the pub, but it had vanished. A whisper carried through the fog.
Welcome to the legend.
Ethan's heart raced as shadowy figures emerged from the mist, their faces obscured. He realized, too late, that some legends
are not just stories. Stay spooked. Like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more chilling stories.